Hey guys, it's Penelope in London. So I'm continuing with this book, The Tao of Fully Feeling, and it's chapter 9 of this book. So I highly recommend this. Pete Walker wrote Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving also, and it's a game changer with complex PTSD issues and trauma through childhood, early imprints that we feel we've not been able to resolve through therapy and such like. It's psychoeducation, and so is this book also. And the other thing that's important to do with this work is to, as he says in the CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, that we get rid of our inner critic, number one, because the inner critic will generally wipe out most of our good work and spiral. Then we build a relationship with our inner child, which I do groups on Wednesday for ladies on meetup.com. So, put my name in meetup.com if you're a female and you can join there. For the guys, I'm not sure what's out there, but definitely get these books. And then also we would, know that we can healthy anger, which is a really important tool for overcoming childhood stuff, because society is very much trained us to be against healthy anger or angering over parental not care that was not good enough, which keeps the cycle going in society. So once we get to the healthy anger and healthy blame, we then begin to evolve it, and then we don't pass it on. So these things are really important, and we stop disassociating when we get the healthy anger out. A lot of people disassociate and maybe use drugs and alcohol to sort of forget the pain, and that keeps them in a loop. So I've been very thorough in my looking at this subject and 2 years of trauma psychoanalysis myself in order to do my own healing. So today I'm reading page 213 of this book. The last 4 videos before, this is part 5 of chapter 9, and this is the final video. It's part 5 of chapter 9, and this bit is called self-fathering. So do refer back to the other videos to get the full picture of this. I'll put it in a playlist as well for people who might want to save it. So self-fathering, page 213 of the Tao of Fully Feeling. Ultimately, love is self-approval, and that was said by somebody called Sandra Ray. So ultimately, love is self-approval. And then Scott Peck said, he wrote a book, I believe, The Road Less Traveled, and he says, children abandoned either psychologically or in actuality enter adulthood lacking any deep sense that the world is a safe and protective place. Okay. Then he says, Pete Walker says, while self-mothering focuses primarily on healing the wounds of neglect, self-fathering heals the wounds of abuse. Self-fathering gestates assertiveness and self-protection. It includes confronting external or internal abuse and standing up for the adult child's right as described in Appendix B. One of my favorite self-fathering exercises is the time machine rescue operation. I have used it many times to fight off the impending paralysis of emotional flashbacks. At such times, I tell my inner child that if time travel is ever possible, I will travel back into the past and put a stop to my parents' abusiveness. In the course of this, I say things like, I will grab mum and dad's arm and pin them behind their backs. The second they try to strike you, I will muffle them with a gag so they can't scream or even mumble their criticisms. I'll put bags over their heads so they can't frown or glare at you. And I'll make them go to bed right after dinner without dessert. And I'll do anything you want me to do to protect you. So the inner father, the video before is the inner mother, but the inner father is somebody that's going to protect you. The inner father, like if you're a female, the inner father won't want you to, date somebody that's not good enough for you. The inner father will, stand up and fight for you and, come to your rescue many times. So we develop the inner father, and we want to develop both, not just one. This isn't just, one parental role we're developing that's for the inner child. It's the mothering and the fathering. Going on, Pete Walker says, it never ceases to amaze me how such imagery usually provides an exit out of fear and shame, and sometimes it even makes my inner child laugh in delight. I will have to say it made me laugh when I just read that bit about what he, the time machine. Continuing reading. I sometimes finish this exercise by telling my inner child I would also report my parents to the authorities so they would be sent to counseling to become better parents, or I say that if I could, I would take time back to live with me in the future before all of those horrible things could happen to him. I remind him that, in fact, he lives in the present with me now, where I will always do my best to protect him. When you consistently show your inner child that she or he is really safe and fully welcome in every aspect of his or her being, she or he will become more and more alive and self-expressive. As she or he experiences you consistently rising to his or her defense, he or she will feel free enough to reclaim the emotionality that fuels her or his innate spiritness, playfulness, curiosity, and flexibility. Then next page. And we have how different this approach to fathering is when compared to the traditional approach that Albert Einstein warned against. And this is what Albert Einstein said. It is, in fact, nothing short of a miracle that modern methods of instruction have not yet entirely strangled the holy curiosity of inquiry. For this delicate little plant, aside from stimulation, stands mostly in need of freedom. Without this, it goes to wreck and ruin without fail. It is a very grave mistake to think that the enjoyment of seeing and searching can be promoted by means of coercion and a sense of duty. He goes on to say, Pete Walker, reparenting and forgiving the inner child fosters authentic experiences of self-forgiveness. Once we understand how terribly abandoned the child was, we cannot help but have compassion for him or her. The compassion sometimes moves us to wonder about our parents' childhoods. As we understand the hardships of their upbringing, we sometimes feel like their childhood travails, maybe it says, are extenuating circumstances that allows us to feel forgiveness towards them. The relationship of extenuating circumstances to forgiveness will be explored in the next chapter. So extenuating circumstances is the next chapter. I don't know what part of the book I'm going to read next, but that would be chapter 10. And we get to decide what extenuating circumstances are, not society. It's our feelings and our own reality. We're all different and we're all individuals. So, you don't have to buy into anything that doesn't work for you. You figure these things out for yourself in time, and there's no hurry to forgive, which is really important, because if we try and do that through spirituality or bypassing, it backfires. I've seen it happen to me, and I've seen it happen to other people. So, just watch yourself and question, the things you're doing, spiritual, religious beliefs that don't suit you. You look at those carefully and you decide for yourself. Okay, I'll catch you later. Thanks for listening.